We'll probably flip this way the best if it's gonna flip. Spotted 2 of them, at least.
What?
Knew it.
That's crazy.
Good morning, everyone. It has been a brutally cold week after that super nice warm spell we had, but I'm out here today with this guy, Sasquatch, and we are out here just kind of trying to turn something up. Will's been spending the month in Georgia, and it's been kind of awful, hasn't it, these past couple of days?
It's not been great.
It's just been
Got
cold.
A hog nose on the first day randomly, and then...
Which is more than I've seen this week, so...
Here, I might be okay, but look how many there are. Oh, no.
Oh, there's an anole, too.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How did I not even see that?
There's an anole and a bunch of scorpions. Anyways, so we're just out here trying to find some stuff today. This is the second herp of the day. Sleeping 5-line skink. And a couple more of these scorpions. Anyways, this guy's definitely brood mating, so we're just gonna leave him alone. But I'm gonna put his rock back. Yet another one. This one little area, we flipped 2 skinks and an anole so far.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there we go. Half decent find. Little spotted salamander. Well, there we go. We came out here to find herps, and we have done just that. Nothing crazy yet, and I probably won't expect to see a snake today, but it feels decent outside, and we've actually turned up a couple things so far. The main thing we wanted to do out here today was mostly work on some 10 sites that are out here and just try to improve them for springtime. But after we get that done with, we're going to do some more of this and see what we can turn up. So, pretty nice little spotted salamander to start the day. So, Will calls me over for a 4-toed salamander he found, and I come over to see probably the single most surprising salamander I could have seen under this log. This guy right here, let's see if I can get him. He doesn't look like much, but that is a Hillis's dwarf salamander, which we're not technically in their habitat or range, but there he sits. So this is the first one of these I've ever seen in the North Georgia Piedmont, and just wow. Not at all something I was expecting today. This is a huge find. I'm super stoked. And Will's just kind of confused right now because he thought it was a 4-toed salamander, which would have been cool.
It makes sense that it's not now that I look at it closer. I just saw the color and I was like, oh, 4-toed.
It's such a weird
and
size,
the coil,
too.
It's like you always flip 4-toads and they're in that little tight coil like that.
So like I said, this is not at all something I was expecting to see today. I don't think this is ever anything I've even shown you on my channel. I'm not sure we've ever seen a dwarf salamander of any species on this channel. But this is the rare species here in Georgia.
Take a picture of that.
So this is what Will thought was a 4-toed. That's the Hillis's dwarf salamander. And then right here,
redemption, baby.
an upside down actual 4-toed. So I don't know if you would have been able to tell in the last shot I showed you of this guy, but this guy actually has cirri, like the southern 2-line salamanders we find. But he's so small, it's hard to show him to you. And this guy is actually a fully grown adult male Hillis's dwarf salamander. And you can see why they're called dwarf salamanders. I mean, this thing makes southern 2-line salamanders look gigantic. Here's these two side by side, so you can they really do look very similar at a glance.
Yeah, at a glance, it looks like a young 4-toed kind of, you know.
I mean, that's even what I thought it was when I walked up to it. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird looking. It took me a second to realize what I was looking at, but... Alright guys, actual 4-toed salamander back under your log. Alright guys, we are getting ready to put this guy back under his log, but I figured I'd give you one last look. You can kind of see his cirri from this angle. But, I mean, this thing's so small, it's hard to get him up close with my camera. But, anyways, the day is definitely made with this guy, and we saw a couple other cool salamanders in this area, too. But we're going to keep poking around this habitat and see what else we can turn up. Great way to start, though. Alright, guys, Will just flipped another 4-toed, a real one.
Another
really
real
good-looking little orange-nosed boy. Anyways, pretty cool. So where Will's at right now is where that last 4-toed was, and right there, and you can see how gigantic it is. What is it?
4-toed.
Another 4-toed?
Real 4-toed.
That is a wood frog egg mass. We're gonna go check out this 4-toed, and then we'll get another look at that. I can even get over to him.
Literally like 2 logs after the last one. I'm trying to focus here. There you go.
Nice.
Cool.
There's got to be a ton of those here if we're flipping this many of them.
Noah is geeking out over some.
You can see how big this is compared to my hand. Massive. That's how you know this is wood frog and not anything else, because they lay these massive conglomerations of eggs in the middle of the water like this. There we go. So there's the wood frog eggs. And over here, Will has some sort of chorus frog. Very nice. That might be Brachyphona. So I think this is actually a mountain chorus frog, which is insane. This is super cool. Definitely looks like a mountain chorus frog to me. And these guys were just described as a different species. This is Pseudacris collinsorum. The Collins is mountain chorus frog, which basically is the southern clade of mountain chorus frog group. Super cool. Will's racking up the lifers today.
That's nuts. Described kind of like that salamander.
I flipped a four-toed while Will was narrating.
Yeah, and he just flipped a 4-toed. That's like what, number 4 or 5?
Yeah, at least. So this is pretty textbook habitat for mountain chorus frogs, a seepage kind of on a ridge top. We're on a ridge top above a river floodplain right now. And this kind of upland habitat's typical for these guys. But what's super weird about it is we're far enough south that we're in range of eastern coral snakes and potentially mud salamanders and Hillis's dwarf salamanders. But you're also still getting montane species like mountain chorus frogs, wood frogs, and spring salamanders. This is a super cool part of the state. All right, guys, just flipped another mountain chorus frog in situ so you guys can see him. Kind of weird to flip chorus frogs. I don't really find a lot of them, despite how often you see them in the pools. Yeah.
Going hard.
Here is a Collins's mountain chorus frog double flip. You can see how warty these guys are. That's one of the best ways to tell them apart from Ferriarum, which is the other chorus frog in this area.
Juice, baby.
So despite how cold it was last night, there are amphibians everywhere under logs today. This is amazing. There's a chorus frog there and a big spotted. Here's a look at that spotted. Good size, reduced spotting. Will wants to see a nice one with big orange spots, so we're going to try to find a better looking one, but nice size spotted. Well, I lost Will, but did find a really awesome looking little area right here. A couple good logs. Found Will, and we double teamed the log, and beneath it was this guy. There we go. Took forever to get my phone to actually focus on him, but nice looking spotted. I think this is number 3 for the day. Probably the best looking one so far. Got some nice orange spots. Cool. It'll probably flip this way the best if it's gonna flip. Yeah. Spotteds! 2 of them, at least. What? Knew it.
That's crazy.
There we go.
I bet you they're both pretty nice.
I told Will that log was gonna have spotteds under it. This one too.
Yeah?
What kind?
I'm guessing southern. Yeah. Oh, whoa. There we go.
Nice. Little triple.
There's a haul.
Yeah. So this is just a flooded puddle, literally in the middle of this little dirt road. And in the middle of said puddle is a giant group of wood frog eggs. There's also some spotted clusters down here that are super covered in mud, so they're not really impressive looking. But Will has scored our next salamander of the day. A very tiny and adorable eastern newt. Look at that guy. This guy's probably about a year old, metamorphed, and is now in his terrestrial stage. This is turning out to be a really good spot for these guys. I typically don't flip this many spotteds in a day around here, so pretty cool. This one's another little guy, super clean pattern. we're just gonna put this log back and keep flipping. Really hoping to see a mud salamander or a mole salamander or something different. There's a lot of potential in this area, as I'm sure you guys have seen so far today. So,
Like a white whale for him.
all right, guys, just flipped another one of these. This is the most chorus frogs I've ever flipped in one day for sure. And they're all brachyphono, which is super cool because I don't see these guys often at all, unless I'm specifically targeting them. So it's pretty cool to just kind of happen upon this population today.
He hasn't seen like any all winter. They've disappeared, so he says. So
Yep.
This was a pleasant surprise.
That's the, I think, like the second marbled salamander I flipped this winter.
Wild.
We had one really good day back in like mid-November where they were all over the road. And then since then, they basically disappeared, which is super weird because this time of year, they're normally everywhere. Yeah, that is a exemplary male marbled salamander.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really nice.
I love marbles. That is so nice. Even looking seeing it on the camera is like really kind of.
So, funny story. This log right here is where we flipped our second spotted of the day. We walked like 2 miles that way, all the way around, and then cut back through the swamp randomly and ended up right here just to flip this log that this marble was under that we missed earlier. Yeah, dude, this is cool. So, little baby slimy salamander right there. And then over here, another one. The exact same size. It's super weird. All right, guys. Well, this gloomy but fun day of herping is probably wrapping up here soon. I'm going to try to fill this day out here and not make this a 2-day video just because it's been productive and I know I haven't uploaded in a while. So this view of the swamp might look like many of the views I've showed you today. But take note that it is now 5:30 in the afternoon and it's still light outside. The days are getting longer, noticeably so, which means more time in the field each day and hopefully more herps. So even if we don't see anything else today, we're still herping at 5:30 in the afternoon. All right, guys, finally, another one of these guys. A beautiful little Hillis's dwarf salamander. So here's another look at this big, this is actually another big male. This one's just completely intact. Super strange looking little salamanders. Love to see them. So I kind of explained to you guys how significant of a find these guys are earlier, but still can't get over it. I mean, normally when you're looking for salamanders, you find where they're at and they're there, but we've been flipping logs in this habitat all day and I've only seen 2 of them. So pretty insane. We're going to put this guy back under his log and keep flipping. It's going to get dark on us here soon though, so this might end up being a great end to the day.
Makes sense.
All right, guys. Well, we're on our way back to the car, and it's going to be dark soon. But just added another species to the list for the day. This is Will's lifer southern redback. They have northerns up by him, so not a big find on my end, but super cool to get another lifer for Will here at the end of the day. This might be the last thing you guys end up seeing, but we'll see. I'll run an outro either way. So we're working our way back to the car. Had to pull out the flashlight, but in this little tip-up, there are quite a few spotted salamander egg masses. 2 over there, 2 right there, 3 right there, 3 right there, 4. Way more of them in here than I thought initially. Give you guys a closing look at this mass. Look at all these little shrimp flying around in here. That's what the spotted salamanders will eat once they hatch out. All sorts of cool little critters in here. Anyways, this is as good a place as any to end the video. So it's been a pretty good day out in the field. I'll probably upload this tomorrow. So you'll be getting it the day after it's filmed. But anyways, I'll be hanging out with this guy a lot over the next couple of weeks while he's staying here in Georgia. So we're gonna get into some stuff hopefully when it warms up a bit. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.